Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I've been keeping track of this update cycle pretty closely, and for the most part, it's going well. There are some things they need to change, but that's the case with every update. So today, I'm just going to be talking about the F15E and why it hasn't received its engines. Um, so basically, we have two types of F15 engines in the dev server. We have the uh, Pratt& and Whitney F100 PW220 engines, which are the same engines that the F15C uses, and we have the Pratt& and Whitney F100 PW229 engines, which are the engines that the F15I uses. Um, so basically, the F15E has been added alongside the F15I, which are nearly identical. The F15E gets less countermeasures, but it gets to take Mavericks. Um, that and one other difference, right? So the F15E, Gaijin has decided that even though it's completely capable of carrying the 229 engines, which the F15I uses, it should get the weaker engines that the F15C uses. Um, so the difference is about 25%, right? So, or I don't know if it's 25%, but it is a pretty big thrust difference, and it's definitely noticeable. Now, to some of you, this might not be a big deal, but from what I've seen in testing, the F15I actually puts a very good fight against the F15C. But between the C and the E variants, the C will take the F15E6 after the first couple of turns almost every time. So it's a very big difference in performance. Um, so we know what the issue is now. Let's talk about why, because this is really the most irritating part of this. So for those of you that don't know, Gaijin's business model is to make you suffer in the grind. The more you suffer, the more premium you buy, and it's as simple as that. Um, on the dev stream, they actually came out and said that they are only giving the F15E the weaker engine to give people a reason to grind the other Eagles, or in other words, so that you will buy premium to grind the other Eagles. Now, frankly, in my opinion, this behavior is disgusting, and if they go through with this, they won't be getting another penny from me on principle. But I just think about that for a moment. The Strike Eagle, the most iconic multi-role aircraft in history, is being gimped to line Gaijin's pockets. And I'm obviously not the only one upset about this. The biggest player made forum topic is actually about this very issue. We've got like 800 people saying they need to change this, and surprise, surprise, the devs are completely ignoring this issue, specifically this issue. They've talked about the other issues at hand, such as like the vegan situation, but we're going into the weekend, and Gaijin won't touch this issue with a 10-foot pole, even though it's the largest complaint they've received. Um, a lot of people are arguing about, game balance, like in the forums, about game balance and historical accuracy and so on. But at this point in the update cycle, most people are just angry with Gaijin that the only reason we have for it not being fixed is, um, at the worst case, because of Gaijin's greed, and at the best case, just because they said so. Um, so yeah, if you want to help out, um, the link to the forum post is in the description. So go check it out. Don't just vote and comment there, though. Go make a stink about it all over the forums, because they are ignoring that forum post. Now, I just wanted to take a moment and highlight some of the responses that people gave to this poll here. And there are a lot of them, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the initial ones we can talk about. So this guy, Mr. Balls, says that the implementation of the F-15I with the superior PW229 engines is fine on its own. The implementation of the F-15E, the original aircraft that the F-15I, which could also carry the same engines, is also fine. What is not fine is adding both aircraft and deciding to remove the PW229 engines from the F-15E for balance sake. That simply makes no sense, since that means the F-15I is now unbalanced. Yes, if they would have only added the F-15E and given it the 220 engines, nobody would be upset about that. It's the fact that it's coming in the same patch at the same BR. Okay, so that's just not really acceptable. Another thing too that people don't realize is the fact that Israel is getting this F-15I. It's going to be the best F-15. Some people are saying that the F-15I is a little bit worse, like a hair worse than the F-15C. Some are saying it's a little bit better. In reality, it's probably pretty much exactly the same, and it's down to the pilot in a 1v1. But um, you're not going to get a 1v1 in these matches, and having the faster aircraft is going to be a huge advantage, and the F-15I is undoubtedly faster than the F-15C. It's probably the fastest aircraft at top tier, and it carries 8 AMRAAMs. So it's already on the best flight model. This is going to be the best aircraft at top tier, and here's something that people don't consider. Israel, because of the amount of people that play it, is almost never split between both teams. Okay? If there is an Israeli plane in the match, it is only going to be on one team, right? Whereas if you were to give the F-15E the PW229 engines, that performance, that aircraft is going to be found on both teams, which means they're going to be balanced. So the whole they're doing this for balance sake argument is just complete bullshit. That's not why they're doing it. You can argue about ground battles, yeah, but in my opinion, CAS is already going to be less relevant. All right, it's not like they nerfed the F-15E to make it so that it wasn't going to be super strong in ground battles, because they're already removing its ability to detect things like the Pantsir and the Tunguska, right? They're going to show up as AAA. Um, so it's going to be less relevant than in the past, even with its impressive air-to-ground loadout. So I don't really accept that as an argument. Now, a lot of people are also saying that because the F-15E didn't start its life with the 229 engines, it started its life with the 220 engines. That means that this is a fine historical choice. But that is simply not true when you consider the fact that when the F-15I was introduced, it was 1998. The 229 engine first received service not in 1998 with the F-15I, but in, I believe, 1992, 6 years earlier, with the F-15E, and that's coming from Pratt & Whitney's own website. So, no, the F-15I did not receive that engine first. People are also saying that most of the F-15Es received the 220 engines, and it's only a few that didn't, and they actually received the 229 instead. That's simply not true. In reality, it's probably 50-50. The few sources that I've seen says there are 99 with the 229, and there are like a couple, like 5 to 10 more with the 220. So this decision, it's 50-50, so there isn't a historical basis for them to choose one or over the other. It would purely be for either balance or for monetary reasons like we discussed earlier. It's not really a valid argument to say that it's a historical choice. Some people are also suggesting that this is going to be the first of one or two or three F-15E variants. And I'm not talking about the EX, I'm talking about the E, the F-15E Strike Eagle. So maybe they'll give it a a 229 engine, and then a 229 and an ASO radar. First of all, there's no basis for that argument. They're saying that because multiple variants could come, that makes it okay for them to do it to this aircraft, to give this one the 220 engine. Well, first of all, that has never been confirmed by Gaijin. Okay, they never said they're going to add multiple F-15Es, just like they didn't add multiple F-15As that could have the programmable radar that actually does have TWS. So I really don't think there's a basis for that argument, but also, why would you want there to be that many variants of the F-15? I don't think people realize how many variants of the F-15 are actually in service with the United States, and if we're going to be getting a South Korea subtree for the F-15K, that brings us, okay, we've got the F-15A, we've got the F-15C, and this is excluding the two-seater versions of the aircraft we already have in game, okay? It's not even talking about those. We have the A, the C, the E, the EX, the X, okay? The Slam Eagle, the F-15K. There's an experimental one with the thrust vectoring and the canards. And there's a couple others that are escaping me right now. But you do not want there to be that many F-15 variants. The tech tree is going to get so bloated. The U.S. tech tree is already the most bloated tech tree. It takes the longest to get all of these aircraft, longer than any other tech tree in the game. Okay? All you would be doing with that is making it, again, more of a grind to get to the aircraft that you want. If you want a particular aircraft, you're going to have to spend a lot of time getting it. And with that many variants, if they add something way at the bottom of all of these F-15 variants, if they add something like way after those that is really nice, then you have to grind through 5 different variants of the F-15E and the EX. No, that's going to be ass, okay? That's going to be horrible. So I don't think that's going to happen, and I also don't support it if that is what's going on. But anyways, yeah, guys, come vote on this poll. I know Gaijin is trying to ignore this for as long as possible, but patch day isn't until like the 5th, I believe. So we've still got some time to convince them. So and they might still address this. So the more support that we can have, the better things will probably be. And remember, guys, the best thing that you can do to let them know, the best way to vote is with your wallet. So yeah, if you guys aren't happy with some of the decisions they made in this update, don't give them any more money. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video, share the link to the poll, share it. We need to get some more traction on this bitch. We still got time. Make sure that your voice is heard. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.